we decided to kind of surprise the younger girls, and like we went around like banging on their doors and stuff, like wake up, and then we did our little secret Santa together that morning.
That's great. I guess especially because you guys were all at school together versus being able to go home, do you feel like it was just something to help lift everyone's spirits to get them kind of in the holiday mood?
Definitely just something that we could do together as a team. It felt like family, so that's what we try to do for each other. And I think it went really well. I think it wasn't the most ideal situation, but we made the best of it for sure.
Great. Well, how's it been to get those few days of rest for the holidays, but then you're back at practice and you got a tough team coming into town tomorrow? Just kind of preparing for them and getting actually back on the practice court for the first time and for a while.
I think it's good, having those few days of rest, especially since I've been here, we've never played, that many games in a row, and, with such little downtime. And so kind of taking those days to recoup, and then it feels good just to be back. And I know we have pretty tough schedule coming up and stuff. So we've been preparing for that, but we're super excited.
Did it help just to get that time and practice to kind of go through things? Because when you have so many games, it's always about, game time adjustments and then whoever you're playing next, but to actually get on the practice floor and be able to go into things more in depth with the coaching staff.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of just taking, from our first 5 games, kind of what we did good and what we did or what we need to work on, and kind of just going over that in practice and kind of implementing different things that we need to get better at and stuff, and just taking that time instead of, always being on like what you said, for the next game and, preparing for that. And so I think having those couple of days is really fundamental for us moving forward.
So you've played DePaul before, obviously. A lot of the younger kids probably just learning from film, or they'll learn when they're thrown into the fire tomorrow. This is a little bit of a different team than even what they were like last year. But what do you, I guess, take from last year's experience, that kind of crazy game last year when you were at their home court, and what makes DePaul so tough to play in general?
I think the main thing is that they're relentless. And so I remember last year we had a huge lead, I believe, going into half. And, they take advantage of any time somebody comes out slow. So the fact that we were coming out a little slower last year, they took advantage of that and hopped right on that and were able to cut the lead down. I can't remember, maybe below double digits. I can't remember exactly.
26-point lead, I think, at halftime, and then they cut it to 4.
Exactly. So they capitalize on people coming out and slow and not being as aggressive. And so that's something we're going to have to really work on, not only with them, but just moving forward. Like, we can't have those laps and moments where we're not aggressive. Like, we have to be consistent the whole time.
Gotcha. Thanks, Liv.
Have you seen an improvement on the defensive end, especially with the communication during practice?
I think so. That's something that we've been really trying to focus on, is the communication part, because, in the game you can see it's lacking sometimes, and that can cost us easy buckets, and we're giving up shots and things like that we normally don't do. So that's a huge factor that we just need to continue to work on, but I think it has gotten a little better.
Olivia, sorry, Alex.
Sorry.
No, Alex, go ahead.
Tonight, and I'm just curious if you went back and looked at some of that and saw anything that you felt like you did in that game that you weren't doing in some other games.
What was the first part? I'm sorry.
About the foul trouble the other night.
Okay.
Going back and looking at it afterwards.
I actually did watch film on it. So, there were definitely fouls that, were just not called for, especially on my end. Like, it's just little things that I can't do, especially in games like that where, the opponent is definitely tougher than who we had played before. So I can't allow myself to get into foul trouble like that, especially over just little easy things that, I would know better, especially being a junior now.
Hey, Liv, this is Charlotte. Just on the communication, what have you guys been doing, I guess, in practice to maybe work on that more specifically? Or is it just something that comes about as you're running drill after drill?
I think being forced into more defensive situations or more challenging defensive situations where we're forced to talk, we have to talk, or else, you know, in practice, who we're scrimmaging against will get easy buckets or the shots that they want. So I think that it starts with that. Not necessarily, you know, it does come from the drills and things like that, but, you know, being put into those tough defensive situations that we'll see in the games is really important for us to learn how to communicate.